Here in Iowa, we have an undeniable issue, a relentless issue which takes its toll on our people, our hard-working, honest citizens. But it was not always like this, and it should not be like this any longer. Before the rise of these now corrupt, large corporations, the average worker had autonomy, control over his product, and could decide his own comfortable work hours. Being an independent worker brought along a sense of self-pride and dignity, knowing you could provide for your family. You were not managed, you were not watched. The recent move towards rapid industrialization and urbanization brought economic prosperity for some, but not for all. It has led to direct social and economic separation between the robber barons of industry and we, the hardworking individuals. Standing here as a Democratic candidate, you ponder, why me? What reason do you have to put your trust in me? I, Owen Hudson, the son of a farmer who knew nothing besides the tools he labored with, who was abused by the selfish and inhumane priorities of the middlemen who cared for nothing besides their own wealth. I stand here today as more than a candidate. I stand here as a representation of our community, an embodiment of our struggle for fairness and equality in this brutally competitive and immoral environment. I've vowed to bring justice to our district, to bring the unfair treatment of our people to the attention of our federal government, to tirelessly push for government intervention and regulation of these corrupt industries, and to finally bring well-deserved justice to people like us. Industrialization is stripping blue-collar workers and agricultural workers of their rights and autonomy. Owners are focused on one thing and one thing only: profits. As long as their bank accounts are growing, they haven't the slightest sense of guilt for subjecting their workforce to inhumane working conditions. Our community's children are being deprived of their educations and are being herded into sweatshop workhouses or factories with unsafe and unhealthy conditions. Men and women are subjected to grueling work hours with no leniency in schedule. These robber barons look at our nation's workforce as machines and nothing more. Simple things, worth nothing, and capable of nothing more than performing repetitive mind-numbing tasks. Machines which do not need to eat, do not need to support a family with an income, or do not need safe conditions to function. Do you recall the tragedy not too long ago in New York? The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire? 146 people, our fellow American workers in New York, were burnt alive in the factory. Lives were lost, families destroyed, but nothing but a wee financial setback for the executives of the company. I will not let there be another incident such as that ever again. Growing up, I watched my father struggle. Every waking hour, he was in the field, plowing and planting, raking and reaping, harvesting the fruit of his labor just to have it purloined from him by the unregulated monopolies. As a young boy, he instilled in me the value of education, telling me that he worked as hard as he did to send me to college one day, wishing that I could bring about economic change and reforms with my knowledge. Now, I stand before you today to make my father's wishes come to fruition in the form of legislation. With the passing of the Interstate Commerce Act, a refreshing and hopeful wave of justice was brought to the beloved agricultural laborers of Iowa, yet not enough has been done. The government is now regulating the railroads, ensuring farmers are not forced to pay exorbitant prices to ship their product. However, the antitrust laws of our time need to be fortified. The Sherman Antitrust Act from decades ago is losing its gravity. Monopolies can too easily exploit the work of farmers, and it is time for new enforcement of antitrust principles. Additionally, after a recent reduction of the gold currency circulating in our economy, all crafts have suffered economic hardships, but farmers more than most. The value of their crops were significantly lowered, resulting in less income for the already struggling workers. I fully support the free silver movement and the economic reform it brings along with itself. More capital circulating in the economy almost certainly translates to increased value of crops, and farmers will finally be able to earn what they truly deserve for their hard work. If elected, my top priority is passing legislation as soon as possible to relieve some of the economic and societal burden from these workers, the true backbone of our American economy. This blatant and inhumane treatment and oppression of our nation's workers will not persist. If elected into Congress, my efforts will be focused on gaining support from the federal government to protect the rights of workers. No longer will the honest, hard workers be subject to brutal treatment by oppressive corporations. No longer will the workers feel like they're being taken advantage of. I will pursue and ensure justice. Thank you.